Assalamualaikum and hi. Welcome to chapter 12, Product Protocol. Now in this chapter, in chapter 12, you will learn what and why is protocol, what does the protocol consist of, what is the voice of customer, and what and why quality function deployment or QFD. Now, when you as a group finishes the full screen, which is before the product protocol, you will face the most critical single step in the new product's life. And it is much more critical than the market introduction and much more critical than the building of manufacturing capacity. Now, this is the point, the product protocol, where very important things all around the firm begin to happen. So, by definition, a protocol is a signed agreement between negotiating parties. In a product protocol, the negotiating parties are the functions such as marketing, technical, operations, and others. So, since most products today involve some form of multifunctional team, the whole group must be responsible for writing a protocol. So, if there are multifunctional teams, which are the marketing, technical, operations, and others, if they work well together, however, technical limitations may emerge. This will give very quick agreement difficult. For example, when customers want a product that can remove the oil in 10 seconds, what would the technical people say? Should they begin the basic research? Of course, the management will say no, because the time frame is not possible. But the technical will respond that this is the right time to commit to the new one. So these types of discussion may go on and on for days. Even if you can assume that the team will work together, there will be so many types of personality that will clash, and this will give more difficulty. So I would like to give you a humorous view on what are the kinds of challenges that can crop up at this stage. Now, if you look at this one, it's a dialogue between marketing team and the R&D team. The marketing team will say, we are going to be needing a solar powered version of our standard garage door opener soon. So the R&D team will ask, but how reliable should it be? Should it be controllable from inside the house? Should we use new electronics technology? Should we be separate from the collector system already installed? And the marketing team will say, well, you're the technical people, so make some recommendations. But then the R&D will say, in other words, you actually don't know what you want. Then the marketing will say, hey, do we have to tell you everything? What do you do for a living? How should we know where the collectors should be located? And the other R&D team will say, if we go electronic, you will say it's too expensive. If we go electric, you will say we're living in the 30s. So wherever we put the collectors, you will say we are wrong. If we guess, you second guess. Marketing would say, okay, put the collectors on the garage roof. And the R&D will say, that probably can't be done. So there will be so many kinds of dialogues that will be happening in between the marketing team and the R&D team. So again, if you look back at what is and why is the product protocol, it's actually to specify which department can deliver the product to the buyers and to set the scope or boundaries on the development process. So it's basically to specify which can deliver what type of things that need to be delivered. And this is one of the success factors that can distinguish between whether this project will win or will lose. Okay, moving back to the next slide. What is the content of the product protocol? So if you look here, it can start with the target market. So most companies, they will manage most of their product projects using techniques like PIC, concept testing, full screen, but some of them, they can just guess. So you need to have a target market, first of all. The next one, you need to have product position. Now, this one is quite tricky. And some of the companies have some difficulty in using this product position. Well, this term of product positioning It's actually a concept that came out of the advertising world in the early 1970s. It's actually to say that my product is better than your product because. So this is how we position the product. It actually announced that your item is much, much better than whatever product that we have in the market. What about product attributes? So in terms of product attributes, it's actually defining the product. So like there are three types of product attributes, which are features, okay, form of features, the function of it, and the benefits. And the next one, under the function, sometimes it gives confusion because sometimes the marketers will see this as a performance parameter or design parameter. Like for example, a car. A car must be a speed or accelerate from 0 to 60 kilometers per hour in 8 seconds, for example. But this requirement does not tell what features will give that performance. But what it does is it answers the question of how the customer will achieve that benefit or in safety. Some people will feel a performance parameter or function may come to be expressed as a design parameter. For example, if there's a statement, use the new ABC engine. That new engine would be a technology, right? But it clearly might be a solution to a need, not a description. So there'll be probably many other ways to be achieved. The next one is features. So features are also a problem as well because the technical people will often come up with the features first based on the technologies that they have. For example, a scientist would figure out what is the solution for a worm infestation in children. But it only be told that this infestation only occur in an island, a Pacific island, and could not give a viable market for a pharmaceutical firm. That's why company must ask the scientists to keep others informed and to seek input about markets being worked on. So features is very important. The next one is comparative comparison, where you need to compare between other competition in the market. And in terms of marketing requirement, some of the marketing requirement that you can do is using the trade channel, okay, by doing brand awareness. You can do some trial use, trade channel, and many more. Okay, others are like timing, okay, where most new products today must come out faster than usual. And in terms of finance, you can also look at the financial requirements needed. In terms of the production, where you need to focus on the function, what it needs to be prepared, what will be accomplished, how many volumes to be achieved, how many quality to be achieved as well. And in terms of the regulatory requirements, okay, the management must understand the need to have the advanced understanding on the regulatory requirements. What about the corporate strategy requirements? It needs to have the core competency of the company that needs to be captured in the PIC. And the most importantly is the key potholes. What are the potholes? It's actually something that might happen that will bring the new product down. So we need to know what are the things that might bring the product down and things that would happen. So an example of a product protocol is from a trash disposal system. If you look at this picture, it's a system whereby the trash can be disposed in a systematic way. So looking at the details below, okay, it consists of the target market, the product positioning, whereby it's very a convenient method for recycling items, where it caters the 30% top 30% of the income group in cities. And what is the attributes? What is the function, features, and benefits for the customers? So these are the details where It can be disposed at a factory cost not to exceed 800, sorry. Okay, it's clean, ventilated, odor free. So these kind of features and benefits and function are all under the product attributes. And in terms of the comparative comparison, there's none to compare. It's first of its kind. Okay, in terms of the augmentation dimension, okay, it has a warranty and a competent installation service. And the timing must have a fast timing to the market. And in terms of the marketing requirement, okay, they want to go towards the announcement in environment shows with a new channel structure, and the financial requirement, the production requirement, okay, where there's no interruption of supply, must meet the quality standards, okay, and then we have the regulatory requirements and the corporate strategy requirements, okay, and then the most importantly is the potholes, okay, what are the issues that might happen in this product protocol. So first is the regulatory approval of health issues, and then accomplishing the 800 cost constraint and getting fast market approvals for early installation. So let's move towards what is voice of customer, VOC. So actually VOC is defined as a complete set of customer wants and needs. So it's expressed in the language of the customer, organized in the way how the customer think, how the customer use and interact with the product, and then prioritized by the customer to see what in terms of the importance and the performance of the product. So basically, it's actually the own language of the customer. Like for example, printer users. Okay, when you use the printer, you don't think about the resolution or the number of pixels, right? You just know that how well the letters will come out or how nice the picture will look. Okay, so that's the voice of customer. It's not very scientific, right? Right? So the customer, they must organize and prioritize, okay, the importance of the product. So how can we hear the voice of customer? What is the right way for us to hear the voice of customer? Is through direct interviewing or by conducting focus groups. But for how many? So sometimes there's a ground rule. Sometimes you can go to 30 individual interviews or 20 interviews. So by 20 interviews, it might produce about 90% of the needs. But you as an interviewer, you must be prepared with the right questions. For example, the better way for you to ask the question is to focus on the experience on using the products or what is the outcome of it. For example, you can ask, what are the most difficult tasks you are trying to accomplish with the product? Or what do you like? Or what do you dislike? Or what is the best? And what's the worst experience that you have had in this product? Let's imagine that you stayed overnight at a hotel. And then you will ask, what is your need? What would you say? You would probably say that you would want a clean room, or you would want a nice bed, a good shower, a nice TV, or maybe a good internet connection. But if they ask you, what is your worst experience? What would it be? Maybe you couldn't find the plug, or you bumped yourself at the shower head, or the towels wasn't very clean. So from there, you as an interviewer will get many more ideas for the product and how are you going to improve the product or services from that way. It's better also not to ask questions by asking too general questions. For example, I need my handphone to be flexible, or I want my internet connection to be consistent. If if they answer similar to that, you can follow up by asking, what do you mean by flexible? What do you mean by consistent? so that you couldn't become misunderstood or misinterpreted. So a good rule of thumb is by keep asking, why did you say that? Why did you feel like that? Why would it be that way? And so on. So a good practice in the interview is by recording all the interviews and making the transcript so that you can record it well. So this is one quote by Steve Jobs. Okay, he said that it's really hard to design products by focus groups. A lot of times, people don't know what they want until you show it to them. You can't just ask customers what they want and try to give that to them because by the time you get it built, they would want something new. So, what does he mean? Does he mean that we should forget about voice of customer? Does he mean that we do not need to ask them anymore? So, there's another quote from him. He said that originally we weren't exactly sure how to market it. So, this iPod, was it an iPhone without the phone? Was it a pocket computer? So, what the customer told us was they started to see it as a game machine. So, we started to market it that way and it just took off. And now, what we really see is the lower cost way to the App Store. And that's the big draw. So, we were focused on getting the price down where everyone can afford it. So, this means that Apple did not ask the customer what they want. They were actually listening to what the outcomes that they want. Okay, and how can their product provide these outcomes? So again, you need to recall from your product innovation charter that to ensure that the technology must match with the market. So again, this interviewing or getting the voice of customer should not be a qualitative research only. And you do not need just to talk to the major customers. You can also talk to the lead customers, okay, to the non-customers as well. And remember that customers are very good at stating their needs. And don't ask customer what they want, okay? And ask about actually the outcomes that they want to see in the future. Now let's go to QFD. QFD is quality function deployment and it's house of quality. Now, just now, we clearly heard about the VOC, right? Now, from the VOC, we need to translate it to something that is useful for the product development team. So, in this section, this QFD will describe a technique. And this house of quality is a technique originated in Japan, but now commonly used worldwide. So, this will allow the voice of customer to become a driver for further steps in this house of quality. So let me talk about the history of QFD first. So this QFD was invented in the Japanese automobile industry years and years ago. It was actually as a tool of a project control in an industry with horribly complicated projects. So with complicated projects, it can use this tool to reduce the design time, can reduce the cost, and also make the communication between the project team members much efficient. However, to produce this HOQ or House of Quality, okay, you will need to require inputs from the marketing and technical personnel. And then to encourage communication across these areas. Now, if you look here, down to the left, okay, this is the left hand side of the figure. This is the customer attributes or CA, okay, or called what's or benefits, okay. So this is the critical marketing input into the HOQ. So we have actually a product here. This is actually to make a product of a printer. So this is an important customer attributes for a printer. So to have a very good printer, you need to have compatibility between the software and the hardware, to have good print quality, okay, to easy to use the printer, okay, and in terms of the productivity to produce the printer, okay. So the productivity in using the printer, okay. So these are the benefits that are identified to create a printer. Now, this will then identify to market research. Okay, you can get this from focus group. You can get this from interviews, right? And then all these benefits, okay, are to be put here. So these are called customer attributes. Okay, and then over here on the far right, this one is the customer rating. Okay, how does the customer put rating on the proposed new product? So your new product, okay, the black triangle here, okay, you need to put a rating, either 0 to 5. So the best is 5, okay, all right, which is excellent, and 0 is poor. So you need to compare your new product with the current products that we have in the market, as we call product A and product B, right? So product A is using the square and product B is the oval shape. So you need to compare. You can put it here. Alright. And then on the upper section of the HOQ here is called the engineering characteristic, or EC. EC, okay? So here are the characteristic of the printer. If you see here, the PostScript compatible, the resolution of the printer, the edge sharpness, the printing, the hours of training required, the speed of the text, and the speed of the graphics. So you see here, this is more technicals in terms of the design parameter, okay, and the performance. So this is translated from the customer needs to the technical specification. And in this case, the hours of training required is, okay, hours of training required is positively related to the ease of use, okay, strongly positive related, but less strongly related with productivity. Okay, if you look at the label here, strong positively related, but weak related with productivity. So you need to match whether the hours of training required, does it match with the ease of use and other benefits here, so that we can know, okay, how we can improve all these characteristics to match with the benefits to fit, so that we can comply and make performance as expected by the customer. Okay, so this is very important, whereby the cooperation between the marketing and the technical personnel is required. Okay, and the top part of the house, which is the peak here, okay, this is a trade-off between the engineering characteristic that the technical personnel must consider. Each diamond here is actually represent the interaction between the EC, and the technical staff must identify each significant interaction. Okay, here we can see we have strong negative, positive, and strong positive under the roof. Like for example, the strong negative crosshatch here, pound sign, like it's like a pound sign at the crossing of resolution. Okay, resolution here. Okay, and the speed of graphic here. Okay, so the speed of graphic will meet the resolution, and this means that it's a strong negative, okay, and indicates that the printer resolution must be boosted, and it is likely to slow down the speed of the graphics. Okay, and then you can look at some of the interactions are positive, such as a single design change. Okay, a single design change here may boost both speed of text printing, okay, text printing and the graphics printing. All right, over here. So you see it's a strong positive. All right. So this is one example of a HOQ to produce the printer. As noted, okay, this is actually only the first part of the full QFD procedure. Okay. And again, down here is actually the parameter of the resolution, for example, 400 dpi. Okay. And then the speed of text is 10 ppm. And then from here, you can compare between the products in the market in terms of product A and product B, and then to compare with your new product to see how does it rate. So this is very interesting house of quality whereby you can match whether your characteristic of your technology match with the market or not. However, the HOQ, which is the house of quality, translate from the customer attributes to the engineering characteristic, will link to the parts deployment area or parts deployment house. Okay, whereby from the engineering characteristic will convert into the part characteristic. Okay, and then subsequent houses will specify the key process operations and the production requirement. Okay, so the value of the QFD can be obtained in the first HOQ just now. Okay, and then you will proceed to the production requirement, which will run in the production. So what is the outcome of the QFD actually? The benefits or the outcome, for one thing, okay, from the product engineering to the designing the production process is driven by the customer needs. To be more specific, the customer attributes. So while you collect the customer attributes, okay, you will know what exactly what are the technical requirement or the engineering characteristic that can match with the marketing team that have collected the data. Okay, so this will encourage cross-functional dialogue, cross-functional interaction through the technical development process. So QFD is a part of the product protocol. With that, thank you very much.